The first time I saw the clown, it was standing at the edge of the parking lot. The next night, it was closer. It started normal, completely normal. Late shift at a grocery store just outside town. Same routine as always. Stock shelves, sweep the aisles, drag carts back inside before locking up. After midnight, the place usually went quiet. Just the hum of refrigerators and the buzzing lights over the checkout lanes. That night felt the same. I was stacking boxes near the front when I heard something outside. A soft metal sound, like a shopping cart tapping lightly against the cart rack. I looked up through the glass doors. The parking lot was empty. No cars moving. No people. Just a couple carts shifting slightly in the wind. I stood there for a second. Then the sound stopped. Everything went quiet again. So I went back to work. After that night, things started happening more often. Not the same way every time. Sometimes it was another sound outside. A cart wheel rolling slowly across the pavement. Metal scraping lightly for a second before stopping. Other nights it was movement. Just a shape crossing the reflection of the glass doors while I was working near the front. Every time I looked up, the lot was empty. But it didn't feel empty. That's the part that stuck with me. The silence would come first. Not normal quiet. The refrigerators would stop humming for a second. The air would feel thick. Even the buzzing lights seemed to fade out. Like the whole building was holding its breath. Then something would shift outside. Once I caught a glimpse of something standing near the far end of the parking lot. Too far to make out clearly. Just a tall shape under one of the dim lights. I remember my chest tightening when I noticed it. Heartbeat suddenly loud in my ears. I tried focusing on breathing normally, pretending nothing was wrong. When I looked again, the shape was gone. Another night the same thing happened. Only the shape looked closer. Still under a streetlight. Still completely still. My shoulders locked up without realizing it. Hands gripping the mop handle harder than necessary. The doors reflected the parking lot like a mirror, and I kept checking it without meaning to. Nothing moved. No footsteps. No cars. Just that heavy quiet again. And then, after a minute or two, the feeling faded. The humming lights came back. The refrigerators kicked on. And the parking lot looked empty again. After a few nights of that, things started feeling off even when I wasn't at work. At first I told myself it was just stress. Late shifts, bad sleep, too much caffeine. But sleep started getting weird. I'd go to bed exhausted and still wake up feeling like I hadn't rested at all. Sometimes in the middle of the night for no clear reason. The first time I checked the clock it said 2:47 a.m. The next night it was the same time again. No sound woke me up. No notification. Just that sudden feeling of being awake and alert like something had pulled me out of sleep. I'd lie there for a minute listening. The house was always quiet. Too quiet sometimes. Even small sounds felt amplified. The fridge turning on in the kitchen. Pipes shifting in the walls. My heart would start beating faster for no clear reason, and I'd have to slow my breathing down just to relax again. During the day things felt slightly off too. I'd lose track of time in small ways, like walking into another room and completely forgetting what I went there for, or checking my phone and realizing 30 minutes had passed without remembering what I was doing. Headaches started showing up more often. Nothing intense, just dull pressure behind my eyes. And sometimes this weird ringing in my ears that would last a few seconds before disappearing. I kept telling myself it was normal. People get tired. People get stressed. That's what I repeated whenever the feeling showed up again. The feeling that someone was nearby. Not close enough to see, but close enough that my shoulders would tense up without thinking. It happened once while I was brushing my teeth, standing in front of the bathroom mirror. For a second I could have sworn something moved behind me in the reflection. When I turned around, the hallway was empty. No sound, no footsteps, just the same heavy quiet I remembered from the store. And that's when something started feeling wrong in a way I couldn't explain. because that silence didn't belong in my house. After a while I started looking things up. Not seriously at first. Just late at night when sleep wasn't working. I'd type random things into search bars. Stuff like someone watching parking lot at night or figure standing under streetlight. Most results were useless. But buried deeper in forums and old discussion threads, I started seeing stories that felt a little too familiar. Different towns, different years, same type of situation. Someone working late somewhere quiet. Gas stations, empty stores, roadside diners. Then the small things start happening. Sounds outside. Movement just out of view. A shape standing somewhere it shouldn't be. Always at night. Always watching. Some people described seeing it far away at first. Then closer the next time. Then closer again. Not chasing. Just adjusting distance. The more threads I read, the more the pattern repeated. Every story had that same slow build-up. Silence. Presence. Distance shrinking. Eventually someone in those threads would mention the same thing. A clown. Not bright or colorful like a circus clown. Just pale. Still. Watching. One comment buried in a thread from years ago used a name I'd never heard before. The Killer Clown. Seeing that written out made something in my stomach drop. Because every story connected to that name ended the same way. None of them sounded like things got better after that point. After reading enough of those stories, the fear changed a little. It stopped feeling random. The pattern in those posts kept repeating the same detail. Things escalated after people noticed it. After they reacted. Not immediately, but slowly. Someone would stare too long at the shape in the distance. Someone would point it out to a coworker. Someone would walk a few steps closer just to confirm what they were seeing. After that, the distance started shrinking. That's when I started thinking about my own routine. Late shifts, empty parking lots, long quiet hours where nothing else was happening. A lot of time spent alone. And every time something strange happened outside, I had stopped and looked. Sometimes more than once. Even when I tried pretending it was nothing, part of me kept checking the glass doors or the reflection in them. Maybe that counted as attention. After realizing that, I started changing small things. I stopped looking outside the store completely. When shifts ended, I kept my eyes down while walking to the car. No scanning the lot. No looking toward the streetlights. At home, I stopped saying anything about it out loud. Even when I was alone, I started checking reflections more than I realized to. Windows, mirrors, the dark screen of my phone. Not because I expected to see something. More like I wanted proof that nothing was there. My shoulders stayed tense most nights without noticing. Breathing slower. Listening harder. And after a while that state just became normal. That's the part that started bothering me the most. Not the possibility that something was out there, but how quickly adjusting to it started feeling routine. The mistake happened near the end of a shift. Nothing unusual about the night at first. Same routine. Same quiet store. I was locking the front doors when something moved in the reflection of the glass. At first I ignored it, just like I had been doing for weeks. But the reflection caught my attention again. A shape standing somewhere in the parking lot. Closer than I remembered seeing it before. Not near the streetlight this time. Closer to the building. I could have finished locking up and walked away. That's what I had been careful about doing. But I hesitated, just for a second. And then I looked directly through the glass instead of at the reflection. The shape was still there. Tall. Completely still. Facing the store. Even from that distance, the pale face was visible. And when eye contact happened, the air in the building changed. Not suddenly, just enough to feel it, like something quiet had shifted into place. Standing there, one thing became clear in a way it hadn't before. Ignoring it had been a boundary, and that boundary was gone. I'm not really sure how long this has been going on now. Time feels strange lately. Some weeks pass completely normal. Work, sleep, repeat. Nothing unusual happens. Then other nights feel slightly wrong from the start. The air feels heavier again. The store goes quiet earlier than it should. The parking lot lights look dimmer somehow. I don't check anymore. At least I try not to. Most nights I keep my eyes down when I leave the building. Straight to the car. Start the engine. Drive home. It's easier pretending the lot is empty. Sleep still feels shallow though. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with that same feeling I had at work. Like something is nearby. Not moving. Not doing anything. Just existing in the same space. The strange part is that it doesn't feel shocking anymore. That feeling has started to feel familiar. And I think that might be the worst part of all.